Productions. Welcome to the MadLife podcast, where the chaos of everyday life meets the conquest of everyday dreams. Here is your host, Mad Clock.
What's up, everyone? This is episode 1 of the MadLife podcast. I'm your host, the villain Mad Clock, and with me is the ever amazing Jesse Isadore of Design the Void. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? You're way too kind with your intros of me. I don't know if amazing is the word I would use, but I
can't do this shit you do. What are you talking about?
Man.
I can't do what you do. That shit's nuts.
I appreciate it, dude. I'm no rapper either. I am working on a DMX cover, but it's a lot of yelling.
Oh, what are you doing?
I'm doing X Gon Give It To You, dude. Doing X Gon Give It To You. Yeah. I can actually send you some stuff after that. I've got it almost completely recorded. The chorus I got to redo, but you know, it's pretty cool.
It's cool. Wicked, man. Hell yeah.
I don't know if you've ever heard DMX with like low growls as a fucking punchline.
No, but I'm dying to hear it now. No joke. I'm dying to hear that.
Well, his voice is so close to like metal vocals already, like the X gon' give it to you. He gonna give it to you. Like it's so gritty and growly, and then like it just translates so well, dude.
That's great.
And I always wanted to do one, you know, but like let's be honest, he says the N-word a lot.
Oh, and yeah.
I'm a crusty white fella, and I was just nervous, you know. But when I actually sat down to like kind of rework the lyrics so that like I don't say anything insensitive, it wasn't that hard. I was like I should have done this years ago. Like this was way easier than I thought it was gonna be, you know.
Yeah. So it's like rapping fast. Everyone's like, well, you know, you could a lot of fast rappers and stuff. Tech Nine and all that stuff is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. I'm very timid on doing vocal covers and rap song covers, doing anything like that because of that in general.
Right.
It's not my thing. I don't use it. Right. I don't like to use it. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
So.
I prefer to take songs that aren't metal and make them metal. Like it's weird to cover a metal song for me. Like it's almost like I just sound like that guy.
Right.
Like you know what I mean? It's like it's weird.
Yeah. You prefer the pop goes punk route.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's a different twist on a cool song, you know.
Yes.
So that's my way to do it. Like I covered Before I Forget for Slipknot.
Yeah, that was actually I was gonna ask you about that. How'd that go?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I just sounded like Slipknot. Like right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was like, oh, this is a cool range for me or whatever. And I was all excited about it. And then I listened to it a bunch of times and I was like, this isn't like impressive at all. It just literally sounds like a Slipknot song.
Right.
And then I was like, maybe I just won't release this. You know? So I've got a bunch of them that I like, a bunch of vocal covers that I worked on and recorded and I just never put out because like you fall into a trap when you're doing a cover song because you're like, well, I gotta hit the highs like he did. I got to hit the lows like he did. And then like when you're at the end of it, you're like, oh, wait, maybe I should have done my own thing, you know?
Right.
So.
A little back and forth. You want to do the song justice, but you do want to put your own flair into it.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. Exactly. And I've gotten better at that over the years, but I have about 50 recorded covers that I just never did anything at all with because I was like, it just sounds like a Chelsea Grin song or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah.
I also kind of like collabing with people. Like it just makes for a better video. And it's, I don't know. I have a hard time just standing in front of a camera and being like, look at me, I'm cool. Like some people are way better at it than me, but I don't know. I feel like a pretentious weirdo.
Yeah.
So
it's something being a solo act. That's something I don't have any like anyone else's energy to bounce off of like in a band.
Right.
I did that for years. People know me. I was in Two Stupid Dogs for like 10 years. Me and one of the guy. It was only one of the guy, but that one of the guy provided the energy when you when you were just doing your own thing or whatever. So that's definitely a pretty cool aspect of comparing, a solo act to a joint group effort in a band.
Oh yeah. Well, and I just recently started a solo thing that I haven't even gotten a chance to lay vocals down. I worked with a guy named Harry Tadeon and a guy Corey. I'm gonna look at his name real quick because I don't want to mispronounce
it's
it.
all good, man.
Screw it
all
up.
good.
He actually just hit me up yesterday, and
Yeah.
I want to shout him out, but I don't want to do it. Corey Cooper.
Okay.
I was going to say something totally different, but but Corey Cooper and Harry Tadeon, and they're writing music for me, and Corey wants to expand his portfolio, so he's doing it for like the credentials, like he just wants shouted out and stuff like that, which awesome. More than happy to oblige, you know.
Right.
Harry, I've been paying to make music, and some of it is like it's weird, man. As you get older, your music taste changes a lot, you know. And like with Design the Void and Narwhal, like I have, oh god, dogs are barking. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but
a little bit. It's all good.
But yeah, I mean, you get into a weird vibe where like that energy makes really cool music, right? Like and Design the Void when you're a 4-piece, and Narwhal when you're a 5-piece, like everybody's ideas like make a cool deal, and like you're kind of shackled by the limitations of the worst guy in the group, which you would think is a bad idea, but sometimes it's actually a good thing because it like with both Jeff and Devin, they're these ridiculously talented guitar players. And if you let them do their own thing, it just turns into like animals as leaders, and it's like it's like
a bossy, just
yeah. I always thought it would be crazy to get Devin and Jeff together because it would just be like Riff City, just crazy, but like so it creates a really dynamic energy where you kind of come up with your own sound, you know.
Right.
But like doing the solo thing, like when I was like, well, what do I want? I was like, I want something simple as fuck, dude. Like I want basic deathcore, I want Slipknot vibes, like I want something with a repeating chorus that I can just make catchy and fun, something that I can like really as a vocalist stand out on, you know.
Yes.
And that was probably the coolest part of like trying to play in a solo thing, and like being like, this is what I want, do it, good luck. And then when they send it back to you, you're like, oh my god, this is exactly what I wanted. This is like, that's never happens in a band ever. It never, ever. It's never once in my life happened. And like the first time Harry sent me a song, I was like, it's exactly what I wanted. Thanks.
Wow.
He's like, no revisions. I was like, nah, it's great, dude.
No, leave it alone.
Leave it there. It's simple. It's chunky. It's fun. It's like got a just ridiculous breakdown. Like that's exactly what I want. Keep it. It's just he's like, oh, that was easy. It was like, yeah, it's the point. So I'm more excited to do simpler things now as I get older than like when we first started Narwhal, and I was like, dude, the guitar solo is crazy. It's like 420 BPMs, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, It's so much more exciting to me. It's like, oh, I get to write a song now. Like, It's not me gasping for air halfway through a song.
I totally get it, man. I guess like in beat productions, I do that. I create all my own beats. I have this incessant need to like layer and layer and layer and just make it intricate and keep going and keep going. And it's that too much is never enough, and maybe not enough is not enough. Yeah. So you're fighting that like, but at the end of the day, nowadays the beats that I made for this newer album are a little more like, I wouldn't say watered down. They're just stripped, a little more simple. There's a lot more room for what's there to stand out because there's not so much going on. You know what I mean? So I totally get it. It's like less is more, and it left room for like catchier hooks. You know, I'm not doing these crazy beats anymore to this album to the point where I can't make something catchy. I have to make it crazy because everything else is nuts. You know? Right.
No, I feel that, and like I've always felt bad for people that are like the musician and the vocalist, like. Because let's be honest, vocalists are a different thing. Like, I know that that's going to enrage everybody who thinks that they're an incredible musician and screams into a microphone. But like, I have very little musical theory under my belt. Like, I know very little. I know what sounds good and I know what sounds bad. And I'm really good at writing cadences and vocals. Like, I think I'm decent at those things. Okay. But like, when it comes to like, when I watch Jeff and Devin do what they do, I'm just like, like Yeah, it's just like how did you like why would you do that? Like it just doesn't make sense to me. But it sounds really good at the end. Like it's really cool. It's really cool to watch. And I always thought it would be like a curse to be both people, right? Because you want to flex your muscles in both things. And the more you flex as a musician, the harder it is to flex as a vocalist. And
absolutely right.
There's certain people who've gotten it right, like where they've done one-man projects and they do everything. Yep. I think Buried Alive is that way.
That dude is incredible.
Dude's ridiculous.
Charlie Caswell is a whole nother level of guitar player, man. That dude is unreal.
He's crazy. The internet hype around him is real too.
Oh yeah, there's so many people that have tried to like call him out for being fake and prove it. Mm-hmm. Or like him or Lucas Mann, all them guys are like there's people trying out there like to disprove their skill. Mm-hmm. And I mean, yeah, it sounds insane, and half it just it's incomprehensible to someone that doesn't have that kind of skill level. I think that's the problem. People you could chalk it up as a jealousy thing, fine, but I think at the end of the day when someone's just like, right, I cannot comprehend that because I literally cannot fathom to do that myself. Yeah. And they just say, there's no way it's possible. There's no way. You know what I mean?
I hear the term studio magic all the time. Like I'll give you the best example is like when anybody talks about Infinite Annihilator, there's some nerd in the comments section going, "It's all studio, bro. You're just a studio band loser."
Right.
You know, and it's like I feel like those people don't understand what it actually is like to be in a studio, because like you still have to make all those noises, dude.
You still have to make the shit sound good.
I'll never forget the first time I heard like somebody pronunciate a witch cackle like that, like the way Dickie Allen does, where he's like, like I was just like, what? Like I understood what he said, and it's also gross, dude.
Yes.
I was like, I didn't realize that was a thing. Like, I just love the higher register stuff that he does because it's so audible. And the lower register stuff is really cool too. Obviously, he's probably the best vocalist in the game, but his higher register stuff, the way he pronunciated it, it just like it opened a whole new world for me.
Yeah, it's like dirty. It's like dirty and clean.
Yeah, it's like that's achievable. I can do that.
Yeah,
and it's a real eye opener when you watch like somebody who's just at the peak. And okay, they're a studio band. Okay, they don't play live. I think that's got way more to do with like logistics of them playing live because I think they're in different countries and stuff.
Right.
And I think it was always supposed to be a side project for those guys. I think it's turned into this huge thing and everybody wants them to tour, and they probably just kind of view it like, you know, the more we make music, the more people are going to want us to tour. One day we'll figure it out. We'll make a ton of money. It'll be fine. That's probably what they're thinking.
The vocalist that really stood out to me growing up the most, besides like, notable ones would be like Corey Taylor.
Yeah, for sure.
Chester Bennington. You know, not even like to the heavier side. Obviously, Corey kind of had that mark, but dude, Danny Filth. As soon as I heard what Danny Filth can do, I tried to compare every other metal vocalist to him, and I'm like, yeah, you all kind of fall short a little bit, man. His range of depth and clarity and skill level is fucking mind-blowing, man.
Yeah. Well, and I always put people into like two categories because you have like a metalcore style vocal and then you have like a deathcore style vocal. And well, you also have like in-betweens, like you have like that hardcore thing. You have people who are kind of in the middle. Like I would put Corey Taylor like somewhere, at least early Corey Taylor. I would put him somewhere in the middle of like metalcore and like hardcore.
Metalcore. Right.
Yeah, like somewhere in the middle of that. But like Corey Taylor, like I don't feel like that guy gets enough credit for being a songwriter. Like that guy is a good songwriter.
Yeah, for sure.
And like you can't listen to almost any old Slipknot song, and a lot of the new stuff is probably really good too. I just haven't. I've been busy and I haven't kept up with it, and they lost me somewhere. I don't know where it was. I have nothing against them, but I just, for whatever reason, I fell off the bandwagon, and I just never tried to get back on. I'm sure I could if I did, but like everything up to like Before I Forget was just like dude, the riffs in Before I Forget, down, 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 like just like, oh, he's such a good.
Yeah, dude, they're killer.
Yep.
They're killer, man.
It's crazy. And like you listen to that, like just today I was listening to that old stuff like Duality, Before I Forget.
Dude, all of Iowa and Barcode are untouchable in the metal world.
They're crazy. And the weird thing about those, I never loved the Vermilion songs, but everything other than that is just unbelievable.
I was not a fan of Volume 3. That's where they lost me.
Really?
Oh yeah,
really?
Barcode 2 was great. Okay, after that, All Hope Is Gone was an amazing fucking album.
Yeah.
And then there was another one after that was pretty decent. But this new one, like Nero Forte is one of the singles on it. The song is good. But they're just they're clinging to this like still kind of likable chorus section with seems like recedingly heavy riffs. They're not getting heavier. They're like just staying in this Volume 3 almost Iowa area, but not kind of quite as heavy. And I don't know. I can't buy into it as hard as I can do.
They bounce around a lot more from what I've heard. I've heard a little bit of them on Sirius, and I listen to Octane and Liquid Metal and things like that. So I've heard a couple of them. I heard a song called Unsainted. I've heard a song called All Out Life. And I would say the songwriting element's still good. But for me, what was so cool about Slipknot is they made heavy vocals accessible in a way that nobody else did. Like with Before I Forget, he's still screaming. He's screaming that whole song.
Yeah.
But you want to listen to it. It's, I was a world before I am a man. And it was just so good, man. The bounce in those songs is just like crazy. You're just like,
I feel like Corey Taylor figured out how to bridge a older style metal vocal in what everyone wanted to hear in newer metal songs.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not this. You can hear the man's real voice in his screams. Some guys like Chelsea Grin or even fucking dude from Asking Alexandria. His name is escaping me for some god awful reason. The dude is a fucking
Danny
legend. Danny Worsnop is a fucking legend. But unless he's singing, when he's screaming, you can't tell who that is. It's just, I mean, okay, his scream is identifiable for being Danny Worsnop, but you can't tell like that's his talking voice. Right. Corey Taylor's voice is in his scream, man.
Yeah,
that's how it feels to me. You know what I mean? It's so raw and genuine. It's not covered up by like extreme vocal. I don't technique, I guess.
Yeah, he's not limited to like the fry scream or the false scream,
any of that. Right. It's just he just pushes it.
All of us new generation metalcore and metal vocalists, I feel like we've based ourselves off of Phil Bozeman and the other era of guys like
Phil is a legend.
Maybe like Austin Carlisle. I'm trying to think of who the metalcore version of Phil Bozeman would be.
Jamie Josta.
Like, maybe that's a good one. That might be. That might be a good one.
That might be it, man.
Yeah. But like we all have that Phil Bozeman, and you know what's weird is I don't think I necessarily tried to imitate Phil Bozeman, but I feel like I tried to imitate people who were imitating Phil Bozeman.
Right.
And we all ended up with that same like bass line, like that false chord growly sound.
Yes.
And very few people stray from the path. So it's crazy how one person has a ripple effect like that.
Right.
And I really want to do something in the vein of like the old Slipknot vibes.
Yes.
And bring that like
it's like thrash. It's like thrashy, but it's still I don't know, or hardcore heavy in a sense.
Yeah. And one of the things like the vocalist curse, I don't know if it's like this in rap. It's like as soon as you figure out new ranges and stuff, you just want to do those. That's it
for a while.
Yeah.
So like for rapping, for me it was like chopping. You know, like chop like Tech 9, Yellow Wolf, getting all nice and fast and shit. I had to really hold back once I started to learn to get really good at chopping and really. I mean, I sent it to you. You heard that shit. It's fast as hell.
Yeah.
I had to like start like I don't want to do the whole song like that. I want to give a variety. I want that to be like the spice and the flavor of it. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure when you find a new vocal range, like dude, this just sounds so good. I just want to rip it. It's like
I know.
Well, I don't want the whole song to be like that though. What am I doing? You know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, yeah, it totally translates over for sure.
It's weird how you pigeonhole yourself unintentionally. Like
it's just a passion though. Really, it's it's a crime of passion.
It is. It really is a crime of passion.
Yes.
And there's been like, I'll give you a good example. I just wrote a song for Design the Void. I mean, it's titled Perish now. I will probably change it before it releases, but and I was so focused on the singing chorus, right? Because I'm trying to hone in on. I always wanted to blend metalcore and deathcore, but I wanted to blend the elements that were catchy about metalcore with the elements that were cool about deathcore. Like, so I want the vocal range of the screaming of deathcore, but I want the singing cadences in like really catchy choruses of metalcore. So like I've been hyper focused on like sit down, shut up, write a catchy chorus, write something that you want to sing and repeat in your car. Like that's my goal before I even move on, because the whole song is going to be based on what that chorus says.
Right.
And so I did this with Perish, and I beat my head against the wall for like 3 days in this song, and I couldn't come up with a chorus, chorus. And then I came up with a chorus, and the chorus is like, this kindness to others will kill me eventually. And like, it was just so catchy. And I was like, oh, that's it. And then I just rushed through the rest of the vocals on the song. And I was like, check this out, guys. And I sent it to the group. And then I listened to it a couple times over the next couple days, and I was like, this fucking song sucks. This song sucks, and it's got a catchy chorus, and that's the only redeeming quality, because I wrote the chorus, and when I finally got that like eureka moment, like I was just like, okay, I got to finish it now. Just like doing stuff like, and then I was like, okay, that's great. I can't wait for them to hear this chorus. And then I sent it back to them. They're all like, yeah, it's awesome, dude. And then as I listened to it for a couple days, I was like, oh, this song sucks. This song sucks so bad.
Yeah.
It's one of those deals where you get obsessed with a particular avenue of your music, and then it just tends to take over everything else. And you just can't get out of that rut. And you're just like, well, I'm learning to do better lows. I'm just going to do the whole song in lows. And it's like, well, everybody knows you and likes your highs. So
right.
How about you put some of them in there? And I'm like, oh,
yeah.
All right. Yes. So you're not even that good at lows, dude. Do your highs. You're way better at those. Like, I guess.
Your highs are so crisp. Like,
that's what I've focused on.
It's very audible for one, and you can sustain that fucking range. It's just so it's just like, keep doing that. Yep, keep doing that. Right there, keep doing that. Dude, it's so good.
Good. Wait till you listen to the song I sent you, dude. Next sequence has I used a very put it this way, I've never heard anybody use this range in a breakdown ever. Like, and probably for good fucking reason, because it sounds like I'm throwing up. It's
oh my God. Yes.
And like when I did it, I was like, and I was like, but it still kind of sounds really cool.
But it slaps.
So I was like, I'm gonna add some layers to it, see what it sounds like. And then I stacked like a layer of me going like under a layer of me going it's just like, dude, and the end result is just like if I was killing a baby in a toilet bowl. That's what it sounds like. And dude, it was like I was like, this is probably the coolest breakdown I've ever written. But I'm pretty sure most people are gonna absolutely hate it. But it's okay because I got a catchy chorus, so they gotta listen to it.
They gotta get through it.
Yeah, they gotta sit through it. And the worst part is I do it for like 10 seconds. This is this one terrible sound of me throwing up. And like, I've sent it to a couple people and they're like, that breakdown is ridiculous. everybody had sent it to us like, what the fuck are you doing there? Like, what is that range? And I'm like, I don't know. It's like my tongue's in an S shape, and I'm just like,
that's it. And I've heard you do that with narwhal a couple times. Like, not too much Design the Void, because you have this more of a sustained, like, warmer sound.
Right.
There's some high end to it, but you don't get that like. How did you come up with that sound? Because it's like you came up with it. You know what I mean? Is it? I was like, wow. What was the one? The first one you sent me was about like
the flying spaghetti monster.
It had something to do with macaroni and cheese, bro.
Yeah, spaghetti and butter. Spaghetti and butter. The flying spaghetti monster. Yeah, it's a whole song. It's a whole song about the flying spaghetti monster, and it's got a South Park clip at the beginning.
Yes. And then, dude, as soon as it hit you, I was like, whoa, my God, this dude can fucking scream.
Dude, the funnest thing, like, Devin writes the, like, jazziest metal riffs I've ever heard in my life. Like, when he first played Sketty and Butter, dude, I was just like, this is so cool. Right. I've never heard a metal song like this in my life. In my life, dude. The catchiness of his riffs and the narwhal stuff is just crazy. And
that's
it's
the beauty of like a Djent style guitaring, is that you can play from both extreme ends of the spectrum and be totally like cool. If you get like hardcore music or like post-hardcore, you can't fucking play a jazz riff without getting laughed at, man. It's not gonna happen.
No. You can't be in a hardcore band and sweet pick. Like,
no, they're just like, get off the fucking stage and beat you with your own fucking guitar, man.
Yeah.
No, but you get into Djent and you get into
vegetables. Super
go away, vegan.
So, yeah.
Yeah, man. But fucking you open yourself up for a wider range of technicality, and it's all accepted. It's wildly Djent. They're like, oh, folk picking on a fucking banjo? Yeah, you're sweeping on it. We're good. Come on in, man. They don't give a fuck, bro.
They really don't. They really don't. And the more ridiculous, the better.
Yeah. And, hey, bro, I'm gonna sweep on a washboard. Watch this.
Yeah. Oh man. And I had so much fun in Narwhal, man. We played so many shows and did so much. All my crazy stories in my entire life have all come from Narwhal shows, because there was like 2 or 3 years where we just straight grinded. Like we were doing 2-3 shows a weekend. We would go to Erie. We'd go to Erie on Friday, be in Buffalo on a Saturday, and like drive to Rochester on a Sunday. Like just crazy. One year we did like 45 shows, and there was like I don't know, 10 weekends of the year where we were gone like Friday through Sunday, just grinding. Like we toured all year basically. Like we worked on Monday through Friday and toured all weekend.
That's it was fantastic. Just cool. And that's the whole precedence of this podcast, man. That's why I wanted to start doing this. It's about, okay, so the tagline basically is the chaos of everyday life and the conquest of everyday dreams. You know what I mean? Like how can you handle the family life, the home life, the 9-to-5 job if you have all of that to still support and live through trying to obtain a dream? Like, you know, you have kids. You have you know,
well, I don't have kids yet. I got dogs.
Dogs. Dogs.
I would argue they're worse. Your kids don't eat the couch. So
no, I just eat you out of house and home. But anyway.
Eat you in bankruptcy.
But yeah, I mean, you're married, man, yeah?
Yeah, I'm married.
How long have you been married?
Well, we've been together for 9 years now. We've been married for between 2 and 3. 2018, I think we got married. So we're closing in on the 3-year mark. And I mean, we've been together forever.
Right.
Like, she was going to leave me. She'd have had plenty of reason to do it 10 years ago. Right. You know, we've been together for, I think, since 2013, 12. It was a long time ago. And I love the woman. She's a saint. She needs to be to deal with me.
Well, yeah, I can barely deal with you.
Yeah, I work like 60 plus hours a week and then do this music thing nonstop.
Yeah. How does that affect like the relationship and all that? How's it all balance?
For the first 3 years of me doing it, it was rough. Like it was a fight.
Yeah.
But I mean, when she kind of realized like I wasn't like just ditching her for my friends, this was like I'm trying my best to do this damn thing.
Yeah.
And like now it's to the point where like I just include her. Like when we're trying to come up with music video ideas, I literally put the phone on mute and listen to Echo's ideas and then propose them to the guys.
That's
and
awesome.
They're like, "Oh, that's a great idea, bro. How'd you come up with that?" It's like I'm super creative, bro. So
that's
yeah,
awesome.
like about half of Design the Void's ideas have actually been Echoes and they don't even know it.
That's great. Well, we won't actually post this podcast then, so they don't have to find out. We'll just delete it right now. Throw you under the bus, my guy.
It's all good.
But yeah, having a supportive partner definitely helps, because I mean you have that kind of familiarity, the lasting love at home, and the friendship and the bond and all that, and it takes a big load off people like us who are working 50, 60 hours a week trying to do the music thing, dealing with other shit, you know, like it's nice to have that familiarity at home.
Right.
So that's definitely a topic I want to touch on. I actually feel like doing a couple episodes. Like a couple episodes of like I'd love to have my wife on the show, because she goes by Mama Mad Clock, for those of you who don't know.
Right.
She runs my merch. She comes up with a lot of the ideas. We talk about everything. We're like best friends. So, you know, she bounces ideas off like, "Oh, hey babe, this ain't working for you. Like, would try this or something." It's usually something I just don't think about because I'm so wrapped up in trying to figure it out myself. You know, she's that quiet voice there to kind of be like, "Oh yeah, try this." Yeah. So it'd be really cool. You know, if Echo's involved, and that'd be a cool thing to do, talk about like the relationship aspect of a working musician, you know. For
sure. Echo would probably like to do something like this, like a podcast like this, because she's been to a couple Narwhal shows. She's never been to a Design the Void show, but she's been to a couple Narwhal shows, and the atmosphere is just too intense for her. Like it's just she gets anxious. It's not a great place for her.
Right.
And to be fair, Narwhal shows are fucking wild.
I can imagine.
So I mean, we're just like hitting each other with shit, and like one time I literally almost knocked Devin out cold because I put him on my shoulders and ran across this bar full of people. And I didn't realize that there was like one of those like cross beams that goes across the top of the dude. No. Dude, him and his $3,000 Strandberg just out cold hit the floor, dude. In the middle of a song. He's just like, it was so crazy. I'm like holding his legs, he's backwards over my back. I'm like, dude, you gotta stand up. You're way too heavy for this shit. like Narwhal shows are just insane. Like we're just doing dumb stuff, and like it's we all have that energy where we just like we're always feeding off each other and like out dumbing each other. And we went through a phase there for like 2 years where Devin had just turned 21 and was getting fucked up.
Yeah,
like he'd get blackout drunk and play a Narwhal show and just go crazy. And what's crazy is he would like hate himself afterwards because he'd be like, "I played like so shitty." I'd be like, "Dude, you actually played pretty good. Like, you're actually better, I would argue, than usual."
Jesse, don't be encouraging that kind of behavior.
No, I'm not.
Liar. No. Big boy,
yeah, I mean,
get up on that stage.
Yeah. But she's become very supportive, like behind the scenes. Like, my life is so crazy, and I work so much, and then come home and work on music. And now I'm on a pro iRacing team, which takes up way more of my time than I ever planned on it taking up. Yeah. Like that's a second full-time job on top of my full-time running a business. She's honestly, like I always tell people, having a good partner, like they don't even have to be in your corner, like doing things for you and helping you in your dream, but having a partner who at least understands that, like, look, I'm not doing this because like I'm finding an excuse to go hang out with my friends, or I'm not doing this because like I want to go anywhere but with you. Like there's none of that is like the truth. Like,
right.
Because if you're with a bad controlling partner, they will say all these things to you, and you'll have to choose between them or your passion. And to be fair, I guess in certain situations, maybe it's necessary. Maybe if you're just in a terrible band and you're a terrible musician and you just aren't getting the hint and you've been doing it for 20 years, maybe then it's time to be like, come on, what are we doing? What are we doing? Nobody comes to even your cover band shows. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So maybe in that situation, I don't know. I've never been in that situation. So there might be certain scenarios where your partner should probably step in and go, maybe find a new hobby,
Right.
But for the most part, like if I wouldn't have been able to do, I've done almost nothing as far as I'm concerned. Like my band has gone nowhere near as big as I want it to be. I would like for this to be a full-time job. And I mean that.
Right.
And but with that being said, I'd have quit a long time ago if Echo didn't support me. I wouldn't have been able to. Like I would not have been able to juggle all of this and fight with my wife every time I come home. I just couldn't have done it.
Right. And that's a huge reason why I think you and I clicked, 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
And we just unknowingly knew we kind of live the same life that like we work our asses off. We we got shit to deal with at home, and the women are supportive. And the music kind of saved me in my sobriety as well, because I was at a point in my life where I had no fucking idea what I wanted to do. I was drugged the hell out. I was in a 10-year relationship I had just gotten out of. I had nowhere to go. I just got with Tara. I was confused, pissed off all the time, trying to get sober. And she's like, well, why aren't you doing music? And I'm like, well, my two stupid dogs, we had broke up at that point. I'm like, I mean, I got no one to do music with. She's like, well, just do your own then. I'm like, that's not gonna happen. I mean, the acoustic thing, it felt weird without Jeremy because it was a dynamic thing between the two of us for so long.
My wife I ended up joining apparently.
Oh, cool. We weren't talking about you at all. Hi.
Echo, say hello. You're on camera. Hey, you did this to yourself, wife. You did this to yourself. Don't weird. I told her I was on, and she was like, "That's fine. I just want to watch."
Oh,
I was totally like, "All right, whatever. Say hello then."
Oh yeah. But yeah, so Tara kept telling me like, do music. I'm like, I don't fucking want to. Like, I didn't want to do music at that point, and I found like this stupid little program. It was like Cheap Beat Maker or whatever, and I started like kind of caught on pretty quick. And she just kept encouraging me the whole time. She recognized that every time I did music, I came alive. You know what I mean? Right. It's just something you couldn't get away from because I'd struggled for so long with a partner that fucking hated it. Right. And she didn't want me to do anything. Oh, you're taking too much time away from the family and this and that. Well, it's like, well, you have to make it fucking work to a point,
Not only that, man, like I don't understand what some people want, right?
Right.
The idea that like you're looking at your partner going, I can't believe he does all these things just to have fun. Like, what the heck?
Right.
It's so I don't have kids, so I don't know what that burden is like.
Right.
So I don't want to speak out of turn and do all that. But what I will say is that me and my wife are probably the happiest we've ever been, in my personal opinion. I'd have to ask her. Maybe you could ask her. I don't know. Maybe she hates me and she's like, that guy's a no good piece of shit.
I'll write that question down, bro.
As far as I'm concerned, though, like we're happier than we've ever been. And she's got her own hobbies. I've got my own hobbies. And the crazy thing is like, so this is how our relationship typically works. Like, I'm out here grinding. I work on music almost every day. I'm doing a deathcore band in Pittsburgh. I haven't announced yet, so I can't put the name of that out or anything like that. I'm in Design the Void, Hidden Narwhal Bloodbath, and I've done features and things like that for a bunch of people. I'm always working on something,
right?
Always, and I may get a week or two off here and there, but I'm always recording a cover, recording a new song, laying on rough tracks. It never ends, man. It just never ends. And when she's feeling like I'd really like to see this motherfucker, I wish he'd come out of his bedroom. Like she just goes, "You want to watch a movie?" And I go, "Oh, okay." She wants to hang out. So I just go, "Yeah, let's do it."
Yep.
Or I go, "I'm really busy tonight. I'm going to finish everything tonight. Let's do it tomorrow." Yep. And she knows that I will make that time for her one way or another. So,
and that's that trust system that needs to be there for that to work too. You know what I mean? Like, that same situations, on my end. It's just like, hey, she's like, you kind of been in there a while. Can we and I'm like, yeah, you're right. I just, you have to be responsible to recognize that. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, that shit's just gonna get worse.
Well, and the sacrifice has to go both ways.
Exactly.
She's got her own hobbies and whatever, so she's really good at keeping herself busy and living her own life. And the thing of it is too, is I always try to tell people this stuff too. When you're controlling, the only you're always just going to get more controlling. It doesn't get better. So if I start telling her, I don't want you to go to insert place.
Yeah.
She may not have even wanted to go to that place, but now she's going to go to that place because she can't go to that place. It's the forbidden fruit. Right. So when you have like a relationship like this, that's open and honest, where you're like, yeah, go to your mom's, go to your friends, go wherever you want. I don't care. Do your thing. Like you deal with me basically touring all year for 3 years in Narwhal Bloodbath. You earn the right to like do whatever you want, bro. Go hang out with your friends, go to the bar, hang out with your mom, whatever you want to do. And the end result ends up being the exact opposite, where we hang out way more. She just kind of stays around the house. She actually gives input on my music and stuff. Like,
isn't that the best, though? Isn't that the fucking best?
Yep. You know how I realized the first catchy chorus I ever wrote?
She liked it.
Well, I caught her singing it. And the one day she was walking around, she's like, "This kindness," and I was just like, I got you, bitch. I got you. So, and I was like, I think this is gonna go over well, dude. I think it's gonna go over well. And that was the first time I realized I wrote like something catchy, and I caught her running around listening to it and singing it and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's weird to me that people stay in these like just torturous relationships. It's like some people live in, like, I've seen people come into venues and beat each other with objects, like because they were out playing shows, and you're just like, yikes. Yeah, that's a rough one. That guy's got to go home too. Yeah. So, but I mean, we've all been in the music industry. We've seen the ups and downs of this stuff.
Right.
It's we've all seen the stories where you're like, don't end up like that guy.
Yeah.
That guy's got a rough life.
I was that guy for a long time, man. Mm-hmm. And I honestly, you're in that for so long that you one, don't want to quit your dream because it's just not in you. Two, you don't know how to, like, at that point, like, you don't even know how to make that person happy, because there's like, because then at that point it's like, oh, you're not going to your band thing, oh, because now you feel guilty now. It's like always some fucking thing, right?
Right, exactly.
So, you there's like, how do you get out of that? So thinking, being in that for so long was like, this is just the way everything is. Like every relationship is like this, like kudos to every guy out there in a band, because we're all doing. And then there was other guys who were like, I don't fucking deal with that. What are you talking about? Like, oh, you don't?
Yeah, you don't.
Like, no, they're like, she just tells me to go do my thing, and then she does her thing. I come to realize the ex-wife never had anything to fucking do.
So, you know, one of the things, the best musicians I've ever met, the most dedicated, successful musicians I've ever met, are either in a supporting relationship or they're single. Yes. So, like, I've never met somebody who's, and I'm sure you could pull out an example and be like, well, this guy's in a terrible relationship. But like most people that are in terrible relationships, their hobby suffers.
Absolutely.
And especially if they're trying to make it more than a hobby, because I could not write a refined song if every 20 minutes, like, Echo came in here and yelled at me. Like, there's no way, because so much of music writing is just keeping the vibe going. Like, you got to keep the ball rolling. When the snowball starts to roll down the hill, you got to make sure all the loose snow is in front of it so that you can just keep it rolling. Yes. And there's been times where, like, I started writing a song and then lost it, and I'm just like, yeah, it's gone. I'm just going to come back to it another day. It's just gone. Yep. The idea's gone. The snowball's melted. It's all fucked.
Yep. That was the biggest complaint I had in my last band, was like, she didn't want me to go anywhere. So I was like, all right, well, just come over here and practice. Then she can't bitch, right? And then it was like, oh, the baby this, oh, the stove, this. That was like, it was always something. It was like, well, okay. And then, yeah, you kill the fucking vibe. Then Jeremy'd be like, man, I'm just going to fucking go home. And I'm like, man, do you have, like, it's my only fucking time. And then you just, there's no escaping that misery. And absolutely the hobby suffers because of it. So, yeah, you either have to be fucking single or be in a supporting relationship. There's no other way around it.
There's no other way. And there's no other way. And I feel like most people, in my experience, most people don't realize that goes both ways. So
absolutely, right.
They're controlling and possessive over their spouse, but then they're like, I can't believe she doesn't support my dreams, bro.
Yep.
It's like,
yep.
Well, that goes both ways. That shoe can fit on both feet, man.
Yes.
So
it's a two-way road all the way.
From what I've seen, you both beat the shit out of each other emotionally. So I mean, I don't know. Handle that.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
And you got to start being more open and honest with each other. And like, I found myself in the beginning, like when I first started a band, like I'm doing this new thing. I've never been in a band.
Right.
She's like, what are you doing? Like, you're like in your 20s. Why are you starting a band? It's like, fucking doing it, bud. I don't know. I'm grinding. I've always wanted to do this, and I'm not working on the road anymore. So I'm doing it. And at first it was weird, and I found myself like saying stupid shit like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get wings with Devin," and like go to band practice or whatever, and then be like, "Oh, sorry, we went to band practice."
Yeah,
And then like, and then I was just like, "This is fucking stupid." Like, how long can she really be mad at me if I just tell her, "Hey, I'm going to band practice," and just go.
Right.
She's, you know, like, and it was probably an issue like twice ever. And that was usually because she had planned something and my dumbass forgot about it, and that's my fault. So you know, it's
but then makeup dates are fucking banger though, because we work really hard to make those up.
Yes. So I can't over stress the importance of just sorting out your personal life if you're going to ever try to make it in anything that doesn't even involve music. Like even my business stuff. Like if my wife threw a fit because I came home from work late, I'd have been divorced a long time ago, because I never come home on time ever. Supposed to be home at 4:30. I can't tell you the last time I've been home before 6. Like I just can't. Like today was probably the first time. I was home at like 5:30 today, and that was because I was coming to see you. So you know, and it's just one of those things where I mean, if you want to do anything, you've got to grind your ass off. Period.
Absolutely.
You're not going to make it in any industry, whether it be music, the landscaping industry, the Walmart like super center industry. Like you can't, like, even if you're going to join a company and move up the ladder, you're not going to become the manager by doing the least amount possible. Like you got to show up early, take out the garbage when you're not asked. Like clean up the storefront when you're not asked. Do these things on your own, man. Like nobody's ever going to promote you for being okay at your job. Right. You know?
And how is music any different than that?
It's not. It's a show up early and stay late industry. Yep. And I think I watch a lot of musicians tell lies to themselves. They say, well, I don't want to get a job because then I don't have time for my music. It's like,
no, you need a job. Yeah.
Yeah. If I was doing music full time, I would be the most annoying motherfucker to be in a band with. I would be in the Design the Void group chat every day being like, let's go, dude, more music. Yeah. Like, I would be treating it like a full-time job, 8 hours a day. Like, this is what I'm doing now. This is my job. And they would all be trying to live their lives and doing 5-day-a-week jobs, just be like, I wish Jesse would shut the fuck up. You know? You know what I mean? Yep. So, and I've seen a lot of people say goofy things like, I'm going to quit my job to try to do music better. And it's like, you won't have any money for new equipment. You're not going to have any money to travel. You're not going to have any money to do any of the things a band revolves around. How are you going to quit your job? Like, the answer isn't find a way to work less hard. The answer is work harder, man. Like, I know that's not what everybody wants to hear, but I know it sucks to come home at 4:30 and then be like, oh, I've also got to write this fucking song till midnight. You know, I know it sucks. Sit your ass in the chair and write the fucking song. Just sit down and do it. And then when you're done, you're going to be like, wow, I'm glad I did that. Now I have literally like a week or whatever it is of time to myself before I have to write another song.
Yes.
I see so many times musicians will stack things on their plate from procrastinating, and then they're just like, this is so overwhelming, I can't handle it, I don't have any time. And it's like, you have way more time than you realize, but you're spending your time playing video games, you're spending your time watching Netflix, you're spending your time doing everything but what you should be doing. You're going to fucking concerts, shows, you're doing all these things that get you out of your responsibilities.
Right.
Work harder. Just work harder. I'm nobody. I'm fucking nobody. But I know that nothing good comes from sitting on your ass and hoping for the best.
Yes.
You know?
Good things don't come to those who wait. They come to those who work their fucking asses off for it.
Yes. Exactly.
Yes. All day long, man.
Exactly.
You know, there's days we're gonna get burned out. We need a break, fine. But on those days where you don't need a break, you should be working. Get something done. And it could be anything. It could be like, oh, today I should design the logo. Today I should record the verse. You know, it's like, oh well, it's only a logo and a verse. I can do it tomorrow. And then next thing you know, tomorrow comes up, and then someone asks you to do a feature, and they need done that day, and then you're behind. Like, there's
now you got a logo, a verse, and a feature.
Yeah, now you're stacked, and there it is. It happens in the blink of an eye. I've done it to myself, and I realized that like. You need to take those days where you're like, okay, I have 3 things to do, or I could do this. Fuck that. Do those 3 things, because if you don't, it's going to be 10 things tomorrow. And I kick myself in the ass every time I do it. So I've gotten a lot better, more diligent, especially like I work a 9 to 5, literally a 9 to 5. So I like getting up at like 7 in the morning, getting on the computer. I work for First Angel Media, a digital company out of Pittsburgh. So I like getting the stuff done as their head writer early in the morning, because then all day I can just kind of view shit and look at it instead of waiting till I get home, having to do dinner, deal with the kids, then get on the emails. Oh, I still have a thing to record tonight too. Like you really got to utilize every hour of the day.
Oh, you really do.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I know it sounds torturous. Like to tell somebody who spends their life working and then coming home to play Call of Duty.
Yes.
To tell somebody who spends their life doing that, like, hey man, stop playing video games. Like, just stop. Yeah, it sucks. And I do play video games. I play with my wife, and I'm on a pro esports team. Like, I play video games. I'm on a pro esports team, and I would argue that I play video games way less than the average person. Way less.
Right.
So, I mean, trust me, like, you're wasting a lot of time, man. You're wasting a lot of time. And I don't view, like, when me and my wife play a video game together, or because that's one of the things we do together is play video games and watch movies. And I don't count that, because that is not, listen, that's not me wasting time. That's me working on my relationship. I mean, you could sit there and argue that it's me wasting my time, but if I lose her, as far as I'm concerned, I've lost everything. I mean, she's been the backbone of our relationship. She supported me through everything. She's definitely my better half, in my opinion. Right. I mean, so like, that's not wasting time to me. That's I'm doing what I got to do to keep my life together, you know?
Absolutely.
So, but like to just sit down on the couch and play Rainbow Six all night, like, oh man, I can't even do it anymore. Right. I can't even do it anymore. I've stacked my plate too much. There's just too much on my plate, you know? And
that's, I honestly realized over the years, after getting sober and staying out of trouble for so long, the busier I am, the less time I have for dumb shit. So it's better that I'm busy anyway. You know what I mean? It's not like, if I'm bored, I'm gonna be left to my devices. Like, no, I'm past all that. It's more of like, I have all that time. Why not just make it constructive and doing things that I'm in love with? You know, and absolutely, if any one of my friends would be like, oh, well, you're not gonna come to the bar, like you just fucking sit at home with your wife. It's like, she sat through 2.5 weeks of me being dope sick. She sat with us when we were homeless together. She's you know, sat and encouraged me to do music. She's done all these things for me. Of course, I'm gonna fucking spend time with her. She's my best friend. She's like, I want to spend time with that person. That's the best time. That's the best person to spend time with, is the person you generally want to be next to. You know what I mean? You
know, and the biggest misconception, in my opinion, is people will say things like, well, I don't want my friends or my bandmates to think I'm putting them on the back burner. It's not like that. Right. Like, as long as you're not putting them on the back burner.
Oh, they'll know.
Most of the time they're going to understand, like, oh, your wife wants to hang out. Like, very few people are actually going to get mad about that.
Correct.
Very few people. Like, now, if you use your wife as a scapegoat every single time you are asked to do anything, then they'll be mad.
Yeah.
But in my experience, like, all my bandmates and all my bands ever have always known that, like, I'm there. Like when you ask me to be there, if I say I'm going to be there, I'm there.
Yes.
Period. End of story. There's no debate. I'm never the guy that's late. I'm always there.
Yes.
But when I do say like, hey, I can't do that, I got something going on with Echo that weekend, nobody ever has questioned me on it. Ever. Not once in my entire history of being in a band, because 9 times out of 10, when they tell me to be there, I'm there. Period. End of story. That's it.
Right.
So that one time where you're not there because you have to go to a family reunion or a birthday party or a bar mitzvah or whatever it is, nobody's going to say a word. It's if people are saying something, typically that means you are putting everybody else in the back burner because you're bad at managing your time. That's usually the case. Nobody wants to admit that, but that's the case usually.
And especially when you don't establish, okay, so like you have the right, say you have the right people, a group of people around you, you know what I mean? Right. If you establish yourself with that group of people that you have a genuine care for your relationship and the integrity of it, they're going to respect that. And that's how you know you're around the right people. Unless you are fucking, like you said, burning every bridge because you just, scapegoating out of everything. But given a normal situation, given a normal realm of reality, most people are going to respect the relationship as long as you make that a priority in your life. Yeah,
exactly. And like people expect your relationship to be a priority in your life. And I would say I'm a pretty busy guy. Like sun up to sundown, I'm pretty busy. My day starts at 6 a.m. It usually ends somewhere around 8 for one reason or another. Right. So, but I always seem to find time for obligations. But part of that is I plan prior, Right. I sacrifice a little bit of time over here to save a lot of time over here.
Right.
And that wasn't always who I am. Like, actually, it was really not always who I would say right around the time I started Narwhals when I started getting my shit together. Like, I had just gotten mugged like 3 years earlier in Pittsburgh for being a drunk asshole. Like, I'd done a lot of stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I got to make changes, man. I got to change who I am fundamentally because I'm living this weird life where I'm just drunk all the time, doing stupid shit, hanging out with people who don't give a shit about me. Like, I got to change my life. I got to fix it. And it's funny how when you actively try to better yourself, how quickly it happens,
Oh yeah.
So,
and you make that conscious decision that once you're in that mindset to change for the better, there is no going back. There's no setbacks. You got to stick with
decide.
It. You really care if you're the one deciding, and if you're the one making that decision, not influenced by anyone else. You weren't persuaded. You're not doing it for anybody else. You're genuinely doing it because you are concerned for your well-being. You're going to stick with it.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
If you're doing it, like, I'll give you a good example. Like, up until, so I've just kind of told myself the lie that like I've always been fat, right? Like, for up until probably 3 months ago, 2 months ago, I don't know how long ago I started dieting. Like, I've always just been like, oh, I've always been fat. It is what it is. My wife still thinks I'm hot. Right? All these like stupid built-in excuses, like to just justify being a fat fuck,
Right.
Like I wouldn't say I have particularly disgusting eating habits or anything. It's just it's a combination of working on the road and being like limited to fast food and not good things, and not having access. Like I can't even make my own lunches and like heat things up at work and stuff like that. Like I can't even meal prep because I'm working out of a truck, you know, like how do you put a microwave in a truck? You know, it's just not a real thing.
Yeah.
But so with that being said, like I just always had this built-in excuse of, oh, I've always been a fat ass. Don't worry about it. And just laughed it all off. And about 2 or 3 months ago, I was like, listen, I'm fucking fat. I am fat. And I'll tell you what sparked it. I stumbled across a picture of one of Narwhal's first shows, and I was just like, I had no titties in that photo, dude. Like, there's no titties, no beer gut. Like, I was just like, I have not always been fat. You're lying to yourself. And that's fucking pussy shit, dude. You know what I mean? Like, that's what babies do. You know, like, and I just was like, all right, I got to do something about it. And I just started dieting literally right there because I'd put this off for 15 years now. I lied to myself for 15, however many years since I got out of high school.
Yeah.
So 2010. You know, that's when I started getting fat. And I just decided I'm not doing it no more. I'm losing weight. I'm going to lose more weight than I've ever had. So I'm hoping to be skinny by the end of the summer. We'll see.
Well, I mean, you're a fairly large guy, so I mean, skinny for you is probably not going to be too close to the realm of what I think you think your skinny is going to be, because you're just a big fucking dude, man.
Like 6'5".
Look at your fucking hands, bro. Like 3 times the size of mine. God damn.
Those
fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude, I wear a size 14 ring.
Jesus Christ, mine's a 9. My big finger's a 9, bro.
Yeah, I wear a size 14. My fingers are huge.
I do not want to get in the pit with you ever. Fuck getting in the pit with you. That's never happened.
Man, I got too much like back and knee pain to be in a pit anymore. Dude, I just the idea of a mosh pit makes my back hurt.
It hurts, dude. Yeah. I've had knee surgery, man. It fucking rains and my shit's like, stop it.
Yeah, I've got pictures of me in mosh pits in like 2007 and 8, like when I was in high school. And it's cool and it was fun and I loved it back then. I would say I loved moshing until like 2015. Yeah. But then when I started landscaping, dude, almost immediately I was like, oh, my back. Oh,
can't
my
do
God.
it anymore. Pulling all them weeds, man. Can't do it.
I've got like no L4 and L5 left. I've got a torn rotator cuff. I'm like an old fat guy. It's just terrible, dude. It's just falling apart. And it's crazy. The idea of moshing makes me sick to my stomach now. There was a time and a place where I'd have been like, I'm the toughest mosher in the world, dude. I'm gonna throw hands with anybody, dude.
Certainly one of the biggest. I get in there. I've jumped in a fucking pit before, my little ass. You know, there was a time I had a bigger set of balls than I do now. I'm worn thin a little more. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna be the first one to swing anymore. You have to give me a really good fucking reason to swing anymore, man. But there was a time and a place where. There was a time when I grabbed my sack and jump in the pit, man. I get the same reaction every time. These guys look at me and they're like, "Do we hurt him or just let him go?"
Who invited Frodo, dude?
Little fucking guy. Well, we had a metal show at a church. Me and Jeremy and my old band, and we just went to local shows all the time. Fucking pit broke out. I jumped in it. I had my lip pierced at the time. That didn't end well, and my glasses got busted into my nose. So I lost my lip. It was just a labrae. It wasn't even a ring, but the ball stripped out of the end of the screw and it came out, and then like it ripped part of my lip open. It was terrible. Like my gums are, because they got the back plate in there too. You know what I mean? That's that did not feel good.
Sounds terrible.
It was bad. So, I mean, there was one really big ass dude that met me at the door. It was like for a church. So like the people that owned it were really, really super nice and Christian and all this, and we were like being respect, but they watched chaos unfold that night, man. It wasn't even fucking funny. Yeah. And I'm watching these like really, really decent people standing in the corner overseeing their place just get trashed with bodies, man. Just get leveled, trampled, smashed, kicked, thrown across the room, and they're just horrified. And the one really big dude working the concession stand looked at me and he goes, "You got a lot of balls for a little guy." I was like, I mean, yeah, I guess. And he goes, I mean, you're pretty fucking dumb, but for a guy your size, I give you credit, man. Goes, I don't think anybody in right mind at your size would have jumped in there. He goes, it's pretty fucking stupid, but you got some balls, but I give respect to that. I was like, all right, well, having balls and no brains, so we'll go hand in hand.
Yeah, that's so funny.
There was a time I didn't give a shit, but I care a little more now because my knees hurt. They rub together when I walk.
It's funny how old age creeps up on you, and you're just like, no, all that stuff. No, I don't want to do that at all.
Shit, I'm gonna be 33 in August, man. What are you coming in on? 17, 18 finally?
I'm 17, dude. I'm 29. I'm closing in on 30.
30. So. Dirty 30 club coming.
I know, dude. I know. I feel like I'm trapped in the body of a 92-year-old man, though. I don't know, man. It's hard to get out of bed in the morning.
I feel it. I really do. I really do feel it.
That's why I'm sick of being fat, though. I feel like if you lose like the turtle shell, you know, like if you lose these guys right here, these little milk squirters, and you lose the belly, like I feel like that's got to make it better, right?
Well,
I hope.
The wife and I have been on this whole exercise kick lately, nutrition, whatever. We've totally overhauled our diets for the past 6-7 months, and you know we falter, cheat days, whatever the fuck, but generally overall we've got a pretty good handle on it. I'm really proud of how far we've come.
Right.
We tried different various workout routines. It didn't stick. Shit like that. It was like, well, you got to do more than just diet eventually. You get the diet down first, cool. You adjust to that because going from just eating fucking whatever the fuck you want to having to actually critique something, it's can be a little shock to your body. So we had the diet down. It was good to go. And we started doing yoga, man. Yoga's where it's at, bro. Because I'm telling you, yes, the core.
I've thought about it.
It's really good for core strength, and you want to get rid of your gut, man. Core's the way to go. That'd be a good starting point for you, I think, would be the yoga because it works on flexibility. And dude, my back, I'll sit there and I'll get in bed. I'll be like, oh, babe, my back is so stiff. You guys better do yoga. And I'm like, I'm so sore at that point. Like I don't think my body's telling me not to because I'm sore, right? But I know as soon as I do it, I'm fine. Oh, dude, so much back relief.
So much better.
Oh, like I'm flex. I can breathe. Like it just opens everything. It's great. It works great for me.
I've been told that from multiple people. You're not the only one who's told me that, and I feel like that would be a good option. Because
I'm gonna send you a link to a girl that we follow, and if you're into her, cool. But I mean, there's so many fucking options on the internet anymore. Man. You just gotta look up yoga training or whatever, and you can find somebody. But the girl I found, I'm really into. She's got hundreds of videos. Another girl we started following, her name's Chloe Ting on YouTube. She's got millions of subscribers. This Australian Asian chick who does more core workouts than I've ever seen any woman do in my entire life. And she has this like 2-week ab shred challenge. You know what I mean? Me and the wife are doing that. And good Lord, dude,
it's rough.
It fucking hurts, man. But it's really the first couple times is exhausting, but then you get into it and like you really adjust. And I can feel like my sides and this little bottom, because I know this bottom pouch is the worst to get rid of. Yeah, it's almost impossible. The top you can really work because I mean you working man, you do whatever, you can lose that shit, diet, little exercise. This bottom pouch is fucking impossible. I've seen a huge difference as I started doing her videos and consistently too. Yeah. So I'll send you links to both of them, and if that's something
do that for sure, because I'm more than willing. Like at this point, like I said, my L4 and L5 are like deteriorated bad. And anything that helps. Like I ride a mower for a living, I run a weed eater for a living. Like anything that helps is very good.
My C-section in my neck is trash, bro. So I totally get it. Yep.
So I mean,
that's been a huge help.
I've always wanted to do yoga too, and like just never. There's nowhere around here that does classes. I didn't realize it was easily accessible like that on the internet. Like
it really is.
It's always been one of those things where it's just outside of my like operating system, you know. I've thought about doing it, but I just was like, it sounds like a lot of work.
Honestly, dude, go to Walmart, get a yoga mat, or just somewhere on the carpet. Yoga mats are mobile and they help keep your feet in place and all that good shit. And then just either with Echo or by yourself, you know, it feels weird to say. It feels goofy, it's awkward, but as soon as you start getting into the familiarity of it, it starts working to your benefit, man. It's amazing.
Right. Yeah, I feel you. I would like to do it. You send me links, I'll do it. How about that?
You got it, man.
You send me links, I'll do it. Whether I think the chick's awkward or not.
bet.
So.
Well, we're hitting about the 1 hour mark here, and that's about the length of my episodes I'm aiming for. And you know damn well you and I could talk for another 3 years.
Easily. We will literally talk till 2 a.m. before loud.
We've done that before.
So.
But
this was fun, man. It's fun, man. Let's do it again.
Great fucking having you for sure, as always. But I kind of want to end the show with my guest giving a piece of advice to the audience in terms of like the MadLife and how you make it work, man. So if you had to give anyone a piece of advice that's like, man, so much going on, I don't know what to do or how to stick with it, what's your advice?
Well, I mean, I don't want to give advice like on how to be successful, because I would argue that I don't, in my opinion, I'm not that yet. But what I will say is there's been a lot of times in this music stuff where it just felt like I just was fighting a losing battle. And I felt like my life would be better without it. But I also wanted to do it really bad. So if you're in that position, keep grinding, because you're going to keep grinding and somebody's going to notice, and you're going to get picked up by the right people. And you're going to find out that the right people change everything. And as soon as you find the right people, the people that want to work with you and not have you work for them, which is a big difference. And once you find the people that are going to work with you, and you're going to work your ass off, and everything's going to work out way better, man. So the only advice that I have to anybody is, if you're in a rut, Doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're a videographer or a musician, or I don't care what you do. It sucks at first, period. Nobody wants to work with you. Nobody trusts you. Nobody cares about your opinion. Nobody will even try you, because in their opinion, they don't know who you are. You must suck. You're probably just another shitty local band or a shitty local videographer, some guy who bought a camera, whatever. You just got to keep grinding. Somebody's going to give you a chance, and when you do get the chance, you got to knock it out of the park. You got to work overtime. Just keep grinding. That's my advice. Work harder and keep your job. Buy the things you think you need to get better, and then you're going to realize that those things didn't make you good. Well, you got to learn to use those things now, and it's going to make you better. So just keep working. Stay employed, for fuck's sake. Don't quit. Stay employed and fund your own dreams. Just work harder. Nobody's going to hand you a free ride on a silver platter. So that's my advice. Work harder. Everybody.
Right there, baby. Right fucking there. Because those are the lines and morals and mindset that I live by every day, man. Go fucking get it. You don't have it because you ain't got it your damn self yet. Go fucking get it.
And the reality of it is, most people aren't even going to listen to your stuff. Whether they like it or not is irrelevant. Right. Like in the beginning stages, like I'm just now starting to get people to look at my band. Yeah. I mean, and I've been doing this since 2014, 13. Yep. A long time, man. And like people are just now going, okay, I'll listen.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the numbers have been good in the last couple of releases. And I feel good about the direction, but I mean, I'm in my prime, I feel like now. You know what I mean? So I feel like I've released bangers up to this point that nobody listened to, you know? So you gotta grind. Yes. You gotta grind when nobody's looking and when nobody's listening, because that's when the good things happen. Yes. So keep grinding, dog.
Well, shit, you heard it from the man himself, Jesse Isadore, Design the Void. Where are your socials at, man? Shout your band up.
I don't have just add me on Facebook. I'm on Instagram too. Hold on. I'll give you I'm Jesse Isadore on Facebook. On Instagram, I'll look it up right now. I should have had that stuff on deck. That's my bad.
It's all good, man.
I don't have Twitter. I choose actively to stay away from that toxic cesspool.
Yeah, fuck Twitter. It's a garbage trash.
Twitter is a garbage fire.
Yeah, it dumps
just
fire,
people
bro.
screaming and insulting each other, and I have no interest.
There's
so don't find me on Twitter. Yeah, I'm not there.
No. Twitter's for celebrities that do way too much cocaine.
Yeah. I'll agree with that. So I'm Jesse. I think I'm Jesse _Isadore or Jesse Isadore on Instagram. You'll find me. I don't post on Instagram much. I got to get better at that. I actually like Instagram. I got to be honest. I don't have time for a lot of social media. So, so I mean, you might be lucky if I post a meme or two a week on Facebook. But I do answer DMs and stuff. So if you listen to Design the Void and you like it, I love feedback. Even if you're going to message me and tell me it sucks and I need to get a better life. I mean, that's cool too. Like you can just tell me my music sucks and tell me how to make it better, and I'll probably do that. So
hey man, if they're fucking talking bad, they're still talking about us, man.
Yes, sir.
The negative is still publicity.
Yes.
Once again, Jesse, thank you for coming on, man. It's been a blast.
All right, buddy. It's been a blast being here. Been a good time talking to you. I'm glad I got to hang out with you again. So let's do it again sometime.
For sure, man.
Maybe you can get my wife on this podcast.
Huh? Oh yes, yes, absolutely. We're gonna do a couples podcast. We can have Tara and Echo like talk shit about us to each other, and then that's what they're gonna do anyway. So it'll be great.
You don't want to open that. My wife will roast me, bud.
Well, I mean, the podcast episode will be just them bitching about us. There'll be plenty of it.
And then us just being like,
"Oh, did I really do that? I didn't do that. I didn't, Jesse.
It's not that bad. Come on,
Jesse. I'm not that bad.
Don't tell my friends, honey. Jesus,
telling all my secrets."
But all right, man. Yeah, it's been real. Thank you a bunch for the invite. I'm glad to be your first guest.
It was an honor, man.
It's awesome. So
thank you very much. Check out Design the Void on all social media platforms. Jesse Isadore on Instagram, Facebook. Hell of Metal vocalist, man. Reach out, get a feature because the guy is talented. So thanks again for coming on, man.
Thank you, buddy.
Have a good one.
Later.